you hear again. He commands your dumb tongue to sing. He commands the arthritis to leave your joints and you're loosed and free. He commands the withered arm to be stretched out and it's made whole again. He commands sin to leave your soul and you're washed whiter than snow. He commands tormenting fear to loose you and you become as free as a bird in the air. Christ commands and the powers of sin obey. Neighbor, stay in the boat with Jesus. Keep Jesus in your mind at all times. And don't forget this one thing. If you keep your mind on Jesus, if you sail with Jesus, if you have Christ in your life, you can't go under for going over. Would you bow your heads, please?
The Word of God was paramount, followed by which you saw people convicted of their sins. And then the healings began. And even in my failures, and I failed on so many people I prayed for, the people saw the failures. You know, it's some experience to have them come across the platform in front of you praying. One gets healed, the next one does not. One gets healed, the next 5 don't. 5 get healed, the next 2 don't. I'm exposed, very vulnerable, sitting there. But you see, I knew I wasn't the healer. I knew if God didn't heal them, there wouldn't be any miracle. But if I preached His Word, He promised in the last verse of Mark's Gospel, I'll confirm my word with signs following. I really believed that. I believed that, and it happened. And the confirmation of my preaching by signs following brought the crowd into the faith. And many of them got healed sitting out in their chairs. They never even had to come in the healing line.
It's true that I cannot heal, and we've never made any claims like that, because we know that God alone can heal. But God uses servants, instruments. And I feel that this is an hour when His gifts are being given especially for the deliverance of people from sickness and affliction. We have fine doctors in the world today. Some of my very dearest friends are medical men. And I appreciate these men. They've done a lot for me. They're doing a lot for other people. But we also believe that God heals through prayer, and that God can do what no earthly power can do. God can do it. But we must have faith, believe, release our faith, let our faith go to God.
I kept telling them, I can't heal you. I would if I could, but your faith comes by hearing the Word of God. So we had a balanced ministry of the Word of God first, and then the healing services followed. There were about 40 or 50 sermons over the years that I preached, say in a 16-day crusade, not all 40 or 50, but I would feel led to use that number until they were seasoned sermons. I came to believe that a sermon has to be preached 20 or 30 times so that it consumes the preacher. He becomes the sermon. And when I walked out, I was that sermon. And the people could feel it and hear it. And I didn't have to grab for words. They poured out of my mouth. They poured out of my inner being, my belly area.
But one must believe more than write. He must release that believing. He must get it into action. For it is one's active faith, his released faith, his faith that's turned loose, that heals him. Because the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Lord shall raise him up. All of it is action. You release your faith. God releases His power. You believe, and God heals. You do something, God does something. You turn to God, God turns to you. You believe in Him, and He sends His power down to your life.
And if you don't watch, I'll be praying in tongues, speaking in tongues in a minute. I can feel the power of those old crusades coming in me now.
Jesus Christ in heaven, his Spirit filling this world. Believe that he has authority and power over your diseases. And then get yourself a point of contact and turn your faith loose. When you come in this prayer line tonight, and I lay my right hand upon you, let that be a point of contact and believe. And when I pray for this audience in a mass prayer, and I reach out my hand towards you, and you put your hand on your body, believe, for Jesus Christ of Nazareth can reach out and touch you and make you whole from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. No matter where you are, when I reach out to pray for you, believe, because God's in this present world. He's here right now if we only believe in him.
The point of contact was given to me in a rather extraordinary experience when I went to the little church I was pastoring and into the small office and fell down on the carpet and was seeking God as he was leading me into the healing ministry because I didn't know what to do. I felt the call, but feeling the call and knowing what to do with it are two different things. And as I lay there, I sought God. And I forgot about time. I have no idea how long I lay there. But pretty soon everything faded away and was just God and me. And finally, I heard the Lord's voice. He said, from this hour, you'll feel my presence in your right hand. And my presence will enable you to detect if there's a demon present. The presence of God through your hand will be a point of contact. It will be a point of contact. And there I was, wondering what a point of contact was. What was he saying? So when I got home, I was led to notice that when I wanted the light on, I flipped the switch. The power was not in the switch. The switch led to the power plant, but the switch was the connection to the power plant. It was the point of contact. It was where you made contact with the power of electricity in the power plant that turned on the bulbs, the electric lights. Or if I took the key in my automobile and turned it, the motor would turn over. It was the point of contact with the power of the motor